He has no tenants, Dan. We get not a nickel to the town
I
unless
can't
he's
imagine
gonna.
signing up to say I want to build on something that
Oh
doesn't,
my
it's
God.
not allowed.
You came as far as you can go, I'm seriously, you know about that. He has no tenants, Dan. We get not a nickel to the town
I
unless
can't
he's gonna.
imagine signing up to say I want to build on something that
Oh
doesn't,
my
it's
God.
not allowed.
You came as far as- I'm serious.
I'm serious too.
Based on what? Because you
It's a
like
per-
him?
it's-
Because
no,
it's like you
I
got,
don't
what's the
particularly
quid pro
care for
quo here?
Jack.
I don't know. I don't get it. There's nothing for the town.
It adds to the tax.
Not unless they actually do something. A concept doesn't.
I don't mean they kicked the hornet's nest. Just-
And when everybody says, don't do it, 1,000 people said, we don't need it. They don't care about, we do by a nickel. You smile and humoring me, but that's the truth. Because you want to do a favor for somebody that you've known all your life.
No,
No, you
No.
telling me that's not true?
that's not true.
All right.
And you don't believe me, but that's not
No,
true.
I'd like to hear it. I think you're
We're
a
being
decent
recorded
guy.
on YouTube.
Okay. Sound like you're struggling.
I had surgery on my nose. That's right.
What?
Yeah.
The hell?
I had
Sinus?
TV something,
Ah,
and I've been putting it off. But
well, it didn't cause supply any black and blue, it looks like.
no, they got splits on my nose.
Oh, you poor thing.
Packing. I only did it because we got our deductible for the year, so it didn't cost anything.
You didn't really need it.
I did.
You did. You
No, I've been
do
putting-
it this year.
No, I've been putting it off for about 6 years. And
Ah,
I didn't. I'm like, I don't want to pay for that. And then finally,
so it's supposed to help, it'll help you?
allegedly, this last few days have been pretty awful.
Oh, I'm sorry.
It's like having the worst had cold ever.
Oh, my goodness.
I've had a headache right here.
Pounded.
Last couple days.
That's the back sinus. Yeah.
Yeah, more or less.
Try a hot compress.
Well, it's just, everything's so packed.
Yeah, I know.
Like, it just doesn't.
You drain.
They take out the packing tomorrow, so.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Oh,
Well,
less than
hope you
24, less than 24 hours of this. And
Hope you get some relief.
I talked to a few people who had it, and they said it's really nice once it's over.
Oh, good.
It's just the,
My daughter's boyfriend had it done and it helped a great deal.
Really?
if it could stop the snoring, so I don't get yelled at, that'll be.
That I don't know. Can't even imagine.
I talked on the phone. Like, you sound off.
Yeah.
I said, well, unfortunately, it's self-inflicted.
Okay. Well, I guess that's good because it'll get better.
Good evening. Welcome to the December 11th meeting of the Rush Town Board. Please join me for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Dan, would you call the roll, please?
Councilwoman Morale,
Here.
Councilman Kies,
Here.
Councilman Brown,
Here.
Supervisor Williver,
Here. Announcements. There was an announcement about the Monroe County budget that says they have put money aside to rehabilitate the Rush Lehigh Valley Trail. I don't know what that's gonna entail, but I thought it was nice to hear.
It sure is.
Sometimes I wonder if the county knows we're here. Public comment period. Anyone got comments for the town board?
Good evening. My name is Janet Walker. I live on the Rush side of Rush Henrietta Town Line Road. I was dismayed when I read the minutes of the informal public hearing concerning the Moore request for rezoning listed as existed on both the east and west Henrietta Road. Several members of the town's comprehensive plan committee spoke, all reminding the town the many hours spent, the survey completed by approximately 1/3 of the town, the need to focus on the hamlet and not rezone additional property as light industrial, as long as vacancies existed in currently zoned land, and the petition signed by 108 residents opposing the first attempt to rezone this parcel. Indeed, none of my comments were captured in the minutes because I did focus on the economic viability of the hamlet. I'm going to reread my comments. I'm opposed to the rezoning and base my thinking on the following. I want to protect the work done to revitalize the hamlet. I want to respect the more than 100 residents closest to the proposed rezoning site who signed a petition opposing it several years ago. And I want to respect the approximately 1/3 of Rush citizens who, in answering the comprehensive plan survey, opined that the current land zone light industrial is sufficient. Both of those parcels are not far from the I-390 entrance and exit. Neither is full. I attended a meeting last week about bicycle and pedestrian safety, where protecting Montesano's Pizza Shop was discussed with respect to making the road in front of it one-way or two-way. I attended the town board meeting prior to the fall festival, where serious discussions occurred about whether moving this one-day event would detract from the hamlet. The charrette conducted several years ago was about revitalizing the hamlet. I believe the residents are clear, the plans are numerous, and the previous discussions were appropriate with respect to protecting the hamlet. I respectfully ask that you do not consider this rezoning request. I will email these comments to you. Please include them in the rezoning record. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else?
Hi, I'm John Morelli of 5 Points, 535, 5 Points Road. I read and also was completely discouraged by the minutes as posted for the town board meeting of November 24th. The currently approved yet published, unapproved yet published meeting minutes contain 6 bullet items to relay what Tom Wickerham and Jim Kolb had to say, but only 7 items to convey the words of Marianne Rizzo, Jeff Kachala, Mark Pulaski, Robert Kraus, Carol Barnett, John Morelli, Carol Glocker, David Couch, and Beth Hoke. I think it's an unacceptable bias and it needs to be rectified. I mentioned in the minutes was the misleading quote, I thought, that said noted was the process that the process was welcome and which is not being fast tracked. I don't know where that came in, but it was just stuck in there. Not adequately reported were all of the following. Our town board and planning board emphasized the idea that the newly created comprehensive plan should actively be used to guide our town decisions. The primary purpose of the Town of Rush Comprehensive Plan Update is to guide the Rush Town Board and town officials in making decisions that will affect the future of the community. The plan says available land in areas currently zoned for business and limited industrial use appears to provide sufficient land for additional business development. In defining a long-range future for this town, the plan does not recommend rezoning additional land for limited industrial. The plan did urge that zoning regulations for existing limited industrial districts be revised to make it easier for businesses to use them, and the town board, with the help of the code committee, has in fact done just that. Considering how recently the comprehensive plan was approved, I believe that any effort to change zoning in the town should be done by a town-wide referendum rather than by a decision of the town board. One of the concerns always present has to do with the responsibility to not create precedents that could then be used by future applicants to circumvent the law. This is a major concern in rezoning any property. What would the response be to the next resident that comes up and says, hey, I want to do this for my retirement? Finally, Councilperson Brown last time stated that the board makes every effort to be transparent and in no way was deliberately not doing its due diligence. And I like to believe that. But I believe that the minutes as written do not support this claim and that they need to be rewritten.
Thank you. Anyone else? All right. No transfer of funds, approval of the abstract. Brown,
I so move. Have reviewed all vouchers on abstract 12-1 of December 11th, 2024, authorized payment totaling $28,700.38, which includes Fund AA General for $23,028.96, DA Highway townwide for $139.32, and Fund LL Library for $532.10, and Fund SW Special Districts Water for $5,000. Do I have a second?
I'll second it.
Councilwoman Morale,
Aye.
Councilman Kies,
Aye.
Councilman Brown.
Aye.
Supervisor Williver,
aye. Report from officers. I have a note from Councilman Chase, who's unavailable tonight. He attended the planning board meeting. It was the highlight was the Dollar General had come back for their fourth informal meeting with the planning board, mostly discussing the appearance of it. Planning board overall liked the revisions. There's still some issues and questions that will need to be resolved before anything can move forward. As far as the official approval of the project goes, at this point, it's up to Dollar General if they decide to move forward or not. And if they decide, it will move through the planning board as any other project does. And that was his report. Councilman or Councilwoman Morelli?
Thank you. On Monday, December 2nd, I attended a meeting at the Henrietta Town Hall with Supervisor Williver regarding the coordinated assessment program, which is on the agenda for tonight. And on Sunday, this past Sunday, December 8th, I attended the Rush Historical Society Christmas tree lighting ceremony. And there were a ton of people there and a choir singing, and it was very festive, really nice. It was a lot of people, a lot of kids, and it was lovely.
I forgot about it.
Oh, that's okay.
Yeah.
I think I was the only board member there, but I'm glad I went. It was just nice. It was really well done.
Good.
Are we gonna talk about the minutes?
I haven't seen the minutes.
Oh, you haven't?
No.
November 25th minutes?
Must have missed them, but I haven't. read them,
Okay.
So
So I guess I can reserve my comments for when, because I could go on, as you know.
I don't know if anybody else. Everybody else read them.
It's up to you because I have serious concerns about the lack of minutes of what people stated, what I said.
All right.
We'll
wait till next week.
Okay, thank you.
Or-
And so I'll reserve my comments for then.
That'll be on the 30th.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Councilman Kies?
I guess I want to ask the question though, Will we want to discuss that so that the minutes could be corrected? So when we did go to approve them, we won't have another delay in them? Just asking the question.
I don't know if you want to submit your comments.
I mean, the pattern seems to be there's
Yeah.
some stuff left out.
Yeah.
And if it's a matter of unfortunately getting them retyped and corrected,
All right,
I
do
mean,
it.
because there were a lot of submissions to support the public hearing, myself included, and all of that was submitted to the clerk for inclusion into the minutes. And
aren't the minutes
there is
summary?
nothing but a very brief, truncated summary that missed the point and the magnitude of the comments and the overwhelming comments against rezoning that property, overwhelming. And that is not reflected in the minutes at all. In fact, there was a statement in there, only a small percentage of residents oppose the rezoning. No, it was exactly the opposite. 2 people said they had no problem with it. And like 24 said, this is a problem. So I don't know. I think we all could do that math. I just like, these minutes do not fairly reflect the comments of numerous residents in opposition to this requested rezoning. In order to be fair, their expanded comments should be detailed in the minutes. I know that several speakers supplied their comments to the clerk's office for inclusion. My own comments were drastically truncated and none of my financial comments were included. I talked about the effects of development and what you may need to reduce your tax base. And it's something that nobody wants to see here in the town of Rush, overwhelming. And I gave a copy of all of that. I mean, I put a lot of data together and there was nothing in the minutes, nothing. So I take exception to that. I really do. Especially when I ask that they be included. It was just, it looked biased, and I'm going to give you the benefit of the doubt that that was not intentional. Thank you.
So the question will be,
Yes,
we look at Pam, is this something we can fix by the next town board meeting?
I'm going to state that the minutes are of the town clerk and they're a summary of what happened. I have a transcript of what occurred. I heard nothing from Councilwoman Morelli prior to tonight regarding the minutes. Have received other emails from her, but nothing about the minutes. I really, my deputy took the minutes, but I am just saying that I looked over them and I also looked over the transcript and the summary. There was nothing biased that was about it. I mean,
No.
the supervisor said that it was an informal public hearing. I do have training on how to do minutes and how to do them properly. If the board would like to rewrite them or submit them in some other way, they're the minutes of the town clerk.
well, I think because I brought this up a couple of months ago, that the town board passed a resolution and said the minutes should be recorded the way the town board wants them, and I don't have the exact wording, but we have an official resolution from the town board about the minutes of the town board meetings. And that is following statute.
And I'm following exactly the way they're supposed to be done.
So in terms of interpreting things, all I'm saying is that people supplied the clerk with their statements. So there was nothing to try to
They are
interpret.
they are in a file compiled, and there will be more public hearings about that issue.
But they're not,
And
it's not
it's-
part of the
No,
minutes
it's
that are
not.
being, they should be. That's what we said. And if you look at other towns, I've seen extensive minutes where
I'm
all the
clerk of this
comments-
town.
Some towns actually do have actual somebody like a stenographer there to take exact verbiage of the minutes.
Okay,
but
but-
that's not, but what statutorily required is a summary. It's not taking.
But we
verbatim,
passed
but-
a town board resolution to cover this very issue, over this issue.
And
And
I
said,
don't like the finger pointing.
I didn't point it at you.
I don't like the finger pointing.
I didn't,
That's enough.
not to you.
Both of your appointments.
We have passed a resolution that if we want to have expanded minutes, that should be followed. But the big point is, it's not anything that needs to be interpreted or, you have the actual documents that people submitted, their comments, and they were all given so there's nothing that needs to be transcribed, or abbreviated. You have the whole thing, the whole statement.
They're not verbatim, though. I really don't know what a summary and verbatim, there is a difference between the summary and verbatim. And there's a YouTube available and it's there for 5 years on our website. I followed the Zoom. We're doing that. There's a record of them in the official town clerk minutes. I don't know what we're debating about.
I'm saying that the minutes do not reflect the substantial comments that we received
How?
as a result of a public hearing. It's not balanced within the confines of these minutes.
So the way that they are to be revised is exactly what you want verbatim, word for word, what exactly you want in the minutes is how you will tell me at this meeting how exactly you want it referenced word for word, and you submit it to me, and then I will put it in there. That is what is required.
It could be an attachment.
No,
What do you mean?
there's no
The minutes,
attachments to minutes.
it was as follows. So-and-so submitted the following, so-and-so submitted this, so-and-so submitted that. And it's just cut and
That's a
paste, cut and
verbatim.
paste.
No, that is a verbatim, whatever people say. It's a verbatim.
True.
Well, can we?
It's a
can we-
verbatim.
So
You
we-
tell me exactly how you would like it, like exactly.
I was just trying to make it easy. I was just trying to
The
make
way
it
that I
easy.
am doing it is the easiest way possible.
Could we
I have
change,
a transcript, we pay for a transcript, we pay for a summary, I look at that, I review it more than a few times, I look at the YouTube, I listen to the YouTube if I need to. If you would like to come in the town hall and see exactly what I'm looking at, to be any different than what you're saying, I welcome it, because I am doing exactly what I'm supposed to do as a town clerk,
Well,
and I am trained.
I've read lots of minutes. I've been in professional boardrooms throughout my entire career. I know what minutes are. And I've read many minutes from different places. And I'm just saying that I do not believe that these fairly represent, if not verbatim, they do not fairly represent the tone and the magnitude of the comments made by the individuals who took their time to come out and say how much they love the town of Rush and they want to preserve
Yes,
town of Rush.
I understand that. That is part of a record file that I have. It's a part of the record. I have all those emails. I have them in a folder. The town board received some of them. I received some of them. My
Right.
deputy received some of them. They're in a folder as part of the record for the public hearing for that or the unofficial. And there will be more, just like any other public hearing that we have. That's a record that I do keep. But it's not part of the minutes unless you want to do verbatim stuff.
Anybody researching it, how would they find it? They'd have to FOIL to see if there's anything else that's not published?
Yeah,
Well, that seems they're here. They spent the time and people want to know what happened at a meeting. and
Well, could
a
we-
research.
Could we just have a simple couple lines put in it that more information is available on YouTube of the date of this? And that the general consensus was against the zoning, but it's just a couple lines. I don't think we need to include the word, because she has that on record. But we can change the tone of that letter or so that, because obviously the people here they weren't running the banner for it. But just a couple lines saying that the majority of the people that showed up were against it. And that there's more information available on YouTube or available from the town clerk. Does that sound?
Well, Councilman Kais, I just wanted. The minutes are historical record. So if I say a majority of the people that attended the meeting, and there is no listing of who attends the meeting, because that is not part of what should be required anymore in the law. Where are you gonna go from that, from 10 years from now, the majority? I know that the majority that was in here does not want that to proceed, and it's against the comprehensive plan that's listed. I know that. And the board knows that as well. But I'm trying to make a historical minutes that captivated the majority of the people that were against, and the majority. And if 4 people said the exact same thing that were for it, it's probably a one line, but their names might be there because they submitted something.
Okay, I'm just. If we can solve it or we can't, but we're gonna have to vote on these minutes one of these days, and
Right.
I don't wanna have the conversation again.
I kept person for person fairly detailed notes. I have no problem reviewing it and seeing how the feeling is. I also, to what you said about the magnitude of the room that night, I definitely felt it, and I know what the majority of that room was, or what the feeling was in that room for that moment.
Okay,
So, you're right. Words mean one thing, but actions mean another. And the actions of that night prove that people weren't in favor of it. And that's something I carry with me right now. So
appreciate that.
that's my feeling. I just,
Well, you can feel that on the YouTube when I was watching it. I'm
Right.
watching it
so I guess,
1,000 miles away, and I was like, whoa, it's not good.
right. So to the point, like Pam's doing the best she can to, council, or,
Annette.
Annette, thank you. What she was doing, she was doing the best she could. And there was a lot said that night too. I mean,
Oh, yeah.
so.
Yeah.
Kid, for now, I have no problem tabling it. I'll review everything we went through. And if it speaks to what the feeling of the room was that night, at some point we need to vote on it, so.
I appreciate hearing what you think. When you have a chance to look at it.
Right. Like I said, I think even if we voted on it right now, I know what the magnitude, or what the feeling was in that room that night, so.
Right.
Thank you. We'll discuss it.
Councilperson Brown, you have a report?
Nothing to report. I was just gonna say thank you to Gene and the highway department for putting up the Christmas lights in town. I think they look pretty nice.
A lot of good
Beautiful.
comments on it.
Yeah,
Yeah, I'm happy. Makes me happy to look at them.
so thanks, DJ. And the highway department.
They came out nice.
Pam, do you have a report?
I do. I didn't know if you wanted to let our assessor do her presentation first, because I know that you had to go to the Henrietta Town Board meeting too. Okay. I received the supervisor's October monthly report from LGSS, which is our local government support services. The town clerk November monthly report was submitted to the supervisor with a revenue check for $20,417.86. And other state agency revenues totaling $1,089.67. I met again with the department heads and the supervisor for a couple more amendments to the employee handbook prior to board adoption. I met with the Pinpoint Group and the library director Pinpoint Group is doing our telephone system and moving our IT equipment. So we met again with them, so to solidify some arrangements. And I've received some firearm cable locks from Monroe County Sheriff's Office. So with them is a bit of alarming data. One of them that rang to me was a 3-year-old child has the ability to pull a gun's trigger. So I do have quite a few of those firearm cables for anyone that needs one to stop in the town hall. That's it.
Thank you. Kevin, do you have a report?
Nothing.
EJ?
The highway department's pretty slow this time of year, other than some snow and ice stuff. You know, to let everybody know, we don't control Mother Nature the time that it does snow, so. If it snows at 6 o'clock in the morning, and it's slippery on your way to work. You know, that's the way it is. Slow down and take your time. We did put up the Christmas lights, so. You will receive a bill from the highway department as far as the man hours and equipment and stuff that we did use for that stuff. I attended the Highway Superintendents Association meeting yesterday where I was elected vice president of the Monroe County Highway Superintendents
Congratulations.
for that. At this point, depending on weather, we will be out trimming trees and maybe trying to still do some ditching and stuff as we move forward, so. That's our game plan for the winter time. I did address the email that I've gotten from Gola Road. About, you know, the tragic sinkholes that were going on. The holes were about the size of a 5-gallon bucket. They're where somebody had installed fiber optic lines with the boxes. The tops of the boxes had gotten broke by the farm equipment.
Oh,
The hole that we almost tragically lost the dog in, had a road cone next to it, so it had been marked. I just want to, you know, in the picture, you can see that. I would suggest that, you know, in the future that if you see something that is marked with a road cone, you probably should
stay away from it.
be cautious, so.
I think
We
they
will-
said the cone was in the ditch,
It's right next to the hole,
maybe, okay.
yeah.
Can they
So-
be, can the holes be filled in? So you're saying there's more than one hole?
We're gonna have to try to address the company that installed the fiber optic, see if we can get new caps put on them. But the farm equipment, you know, and where they place them, I have no say in, other than they have the right to work within our right of way. It is all to feed the power station or the plant, the power, I guess, the power station of National Grid.
So these are relatively new then.
Yes, yeah, yeah, within the last 5 years, they've been installed.
And
And we have miles of trail in this town. I would use them other than Gola Road to, you know, walk your pets, so.
we had MCI or AT&T and they had to come out, and put new one, same deal, the cover's crushed in.
Yeah.
And they put cement boxes, cement manholes in, took the fiberglass out.
So maybe that's something I've reached, or I have not reached out. I finally found a permit to reach out to the company that did install that fiber optic, so.
Will you guys be doing any of the work on the Lehigh Valley Trail?
Not that I'm aware of.
That just came out
So,
today, so. I-
They have a pretty good parks crew at this point. I mean, if they need something significant, I guess we'll, you know, we're more than willing to assist and they know that, so.
Cause you guys did the last project, right?
Yes, we built the trail from the beginning, but the parks director or the assistant parks director was a past highway superintendent in the town of Rondecoit, and, you know, him and I have spoke to the point that, you know, if they need help, we're more than willing to show up if they've got the money, so.
Gotcha.
Perfect.
Thank you.
Thank you. I had a meeting in Henrietta with Gene and Henrietta Town Board and Amy about the cyclical coordinated assessment plan. We're gonna get more detail on later. Met with contractors last week about barn 7. Contractors looking to do the repairs. I met with Tom Nob from Invenergy, talking about Horseshoe and their schedule moving forward. Really nothing happening until late next year. And
Is there a holdup?
then there's something going on with NYSERDA, and the major thing is the solar panels we built in Ohio, and there's such a demand that they won't be available till 27. So there's not a whole lot they can do except for get line things up, because the panels won't be available till into 27. So, and I think their completion date, they're shooting for sometime in later 28. So it's moving ahead, but not really moving for almost another year before you can see anything that's gonna change. We had a meeting on the employees handbook. Hopefully got everything pretty much finalized on that. I think Sharon sent out a copy to the board members.
So is that something we should also, I saw that and I didn't get into it to see what was done,
We'll have to have a workshop or something
part of a workshop, okay,
to go over.
okay.
To go over it. There's not really a lot of updates, not real drastic changes, just updates mostly.
Okay,
And I met with a couple of people from a company called Greenwood Sustainable Infrastructure. They're looking at putting a 10 to 12 acre solar array, community solar project on 5 Points Road and number 6 Road. They're in preliminary. They were wondering what they need to move forward, how to go about getting an overlay district, and I gave them some paperwork and they were gonna see what they could do with it.
because I think we developed, or the town developed when they did the solar law, a flow chart.
Yeah, I gave them all the steps they needed to, and first off, they'd have a tier 3 solar arrays between 20 and 50 acres, and they're gonna be under that, so to start off, they're gonna have to get a variance with zoning, but I just laid it out. This is what you need to do. See what happens.
And they were talking about how many acres?
12. And that's that.
I got derailed because I got off on Gene's stuff here with Pam. Did we ever hear back on possibly moving the mailboxes from the post office over on Town Line or West Rush Road?
had
And
mentioned
stop
it.
signs.
They're looking into the stop sign issue. And I mentioned the mailboxes, and they said, I don't know if that'll really help us. But I mentioned that is available. The post office would deliver to the other side of the road if that would help you out, but there didn't seem to be much interest in it.
So would the homeowners have to go to the post office, say, hey, we're gonna move our mailbox, and just let them know, is that what?
That, yeah. But they said they would deliver it to the other side of the road, so they wouldn't have to cross the road to get their mail.
Okay, so they can,
So the residents there are the ones that should tell the post office
They
to do
should talk
that?
to the post, well, they'd have,
If they
they
got
should go to
together?
the post office
All
and
right.
say, I'd like to move my mailbox, but they would have to move it themselves, pay somebody to do it. But they said they would deliver to the other side of the
Oh,
road.
okay, I get it.
If
And to
So-
let the
some-
post office know that they're,
they go out
Gonna do
Rush,
that if
West
they
Rush
want.
Road and they come back.
yeah,
Some roads they go out and they go somewhere else.
Yeah.
So they have to be on one side, but they said they do make a return trip down Rush, West Rush Road, so they could move them to be safer.
so we
Good.
should just tell those residents.
I told some, I can't remember where I did, and We're too receptive.
But it would
I
be
thought-
up
I
to
thought
them
it-
to
yeah,
initiate that, and do
I
that,
thought it was.
but that
be
they
helpful.
could.
That's it.
Okay.
Sorry.
That's okay. Old business. We need to get a contract with Department of Recreation instructor Teresa Calcagno.
There,
A motion on it?
Is this,
Sure.
that's the contract.
I make a motion to move to authorize the town supervisor and recreation supervisor to sign on an agreement with independent instructor Teresa Glagno. Sorry if that's wrong. To conduct recreational services at the William R. Judicious Pavilion, Rush, New York during calendar year 2025. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Councilman Morelli,
Aye.
Councilman Kais,
Aye.
Councilman Brown,
Aye.
Supervisor Wilbur,
Aye. We're gonna need a resolution to approve the assessor's use of guidelines from the Department of Taxation and Finance along with the town of Henrietta for rezoning. Here to speak to that.
Thank you, Mr. Supervisor. I'm asking the board to consider a resolution allowing the town to enter into a cyclical reassessment plan. With the Office of Real Property Tax Service, the plan lays out the timing for townwide reassessments, which would be every 4 years. The first one would be next year in 2025, and then again in 2029. The state of New York offers aid to municipalities, reassessing properties regularly and following state guidelines for those reassessments. One of the requirements to get that state aid is to have this plan in place or a plan like it. Aid comes in the form of a per parcel reimbursement, depending on how much money is available in that year that you reassess and how many municipalities across the state are reassessing how many properties. So it gets split. We don't know exactly how much it's going to be. It's designed to help offset the extra costs to performing a reassessment. Rush, the last time they had a cyclical plan in place was in 2014, so we're trying to bring it back. Anybody have any questions?
I think we need to do it.
Okay, so you
We
have
get-
the
You
resolution,
get
right?
reassessed 25, no more reassessments till 29.
Yep.
Correct?
That's correct. In between, we would just do reassess properties that have physical changes to them. So properties that sell. we-
Additions, alterations.
Yeah. New houses that come on board, people remove stuff, we take stuff off of inventory, that kind of thing.
And then you're still planning on doing the, you're gonna do like a, what am I trying to say? On January 10th, 15th, you were gonna do something, correct?
Yes, I am having a public meeting
Okay.
to discuss the reassessment project as well as the reassessment process,
Yeah.
just to educate residences.
Sure.
It's going to be, gosh, I forgot the date. I think it is the 15th, 16th. Okay, sorry. Thank you.
That'll be it.
And it is gonna be at the pavilion, yep, at 6 o'clock, and, I'll give a presentation and then there'll be plenty of time for question and answer if people have questions. I can't record the session in that meeting room, but I am planning on recording a similar type of presentation and hopefully making it available on the website for people who aren't able to attend.
Sure.
We will also have copies of the slideshow. Will be available in the assessor's office and that night for people who, can't attend or want that information.
I just figured people would ask about the process if we signed into an agreement. That's so.
Yep.
Good.
We have a resolution.
You want me to read it?
Sure.
So this is a resolution to adopt a cyclical reassessment plan for the towns of Henrietta and Rush as part of the coordinated assessment program. So I move to authorize the supervisor to enter into this agreement. Whereas the towns of Henrietta and Rush entered into a coordinated assessment program through the adoption of an intermunicipal agreement via Rush Town Board Resolution number 220-2023 and Henrietta Town Board Resolution number 22-365/2023, both passed on October 25th, 2023. And whereas the massive increases in real estate values have made it extremely difficult for towns to keep their assessment levels at 100%, as far too many properties would need to be reassessed each year. And whereas to alleviate this issue, the assessor for the towns of Henrietta and Rush has proposed a cyclical reassessment plan that would call for a full reassessment of all properties in the towns every 4 years, with updates based on physical changes only in the intervening years. And whereas each town board must adopt the plan for their respective towns, and whereas through the adoption of a cyclical reassessment plan, the towns are eligible for financial assistance from the state when performing the townwide reassessments. And whereas this program establishes the manner in which the towns would be reassessed on a cyclical basis and sets the maximum time between reassessments, it does not prevent the towns from doing partial reassessments to keep the towns at full assessed values should the real estate markets ever return to their previous normal growth cycles. Therefore, be it resolved that the town of Henrietta, well, this should be the town of Rush. Am I right? Town of Rush adopts the attached cyclical reassessment plan for the town of Rush, authorizing the town supervisor and assessor for the towns of Henrietta and Rush to sign on the RP 1573-ACR-P on the town's behalf. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Councilwoman Morelli,
Aye.
Councilman Kais,
All right,
Councilman Brown,
Aye.
Supervisor Williver,
I,
I need one blow, right, the town. Well, that's different.
Veterans Park, the Veterans Park signs. Sumi has posters that have, she didn't give them to me. She was supposed to be here tonight, but something came up. But they're ready. They look good. They match what's existing. There's 2 signs, but I don't have a copy of them. She was gonna mail or email everybody.
Is
Everybody
that
get
the
one?
green and white ones?
Hmm?
Is that the white and green?
No, it's
Oh, I'm
printed.
thinking of the,
Printed with pictures. We'll talk about the mill and we'll talk about the different development that was along on at the site.
Yep.
But they're ready to be printed. He has the proofs on it. And we need to schedule a town or board workshop to discuss the commercial code that the code committee's been working on. I think we
Okay.
should try to do it early January. I'd like to do the first one on a Monday. And then we'll do we'll do a follow-up on a Tuesday, probably following month, or maybe even later in January.
Seven,
I
Yeah.
can't do it the 7th.
We do the 6th.
The 6th is possible. No, he
He'd
can't.
rather not.
Okay, how about the following week?
14th.
well, I'll make either.
I'm sorry,
Yeah, I could do either one. 13th or 14th.
13th or 14th.
13th will be better. 14th, I have tree advisory board.
So January 13th.
Yep. You want to start earlier or 7 o'clock?
I think it's gonna be a long night, so I wouldn't mind starting a little earlier.
Start at 6.
6 o'clock.
6 o'clock on the 13th.
I so moved to schedule a town board workshop meeting on January 13th, starting at 6 p.m. at the Rush Town Hall, 5977 East Henrietta Road, Rush, New York, for the purpose of discussing amendments providing to the code by the code committee. Do I have a second?
I'll second it.
Councilwoman Raleigh,
Aye.
Councilman Kais,
Aye.
Councilman Brown,
Aye.
Supervisor Wilbur,
Aye.
and Tom Ford, I forgot to let you know, Friday, the Monroe County Town Clerks and Tax Receivers will be in this room for our, meeting. And we'll have a host, be speaking at that as well.
Very good. Thank you.
I was looking at my, excuse me.
Bless you.
Try to suppress it. At my calendar, and I saw for next Monday, I think it's you and I
Yeah, we gotta do that.
are scheduled to do the audit for the supervisor's office.
Okay.
Is that all ready for us to come in and do?
It could be. What's the date?
Monday, the
16th.
16th?
What time? Oh, I did see the 8:30. What was it?
We didn't really set a time.
Right,
Okay.
if that's still on the agenda to have
Yeah,
ready.
we need to do it.
I know,
So what time?
Earlier, the better for me.
okay. 8:30, 9 o'clock?
In the morning?
5.
I don't think anybody will be there to.
John Lindbeck will be here.
True,
Janice will not.
right. What time does she get here?
8:30, she's here.
Okay,
Okay.
so we'll come in at 8:30.
Yep.
Can we get a copy? I've never personally audited the supervisor's office.
Neither-
Can I?
Neither have I.
Neither have you.
No.
Do
You can
we
get
have
it
a
on-
copy?
You can get it on the comptroller's office, the guide to doing the audit.
Okay, online
Yep.
or from, okay.
Yep.
Okay. Was the one for the clerk's office done? Cause I
Next
know
week. Next week.
next week that's scheduled too.
Yep.
Mhm.
All right, that's all the town business for tonight. Next town board meeting will be the 30th, so I won't see anybody until after Christmas. Everyone have a Merry Christmas. And organizational meeting will be the 8th of January. Conservation Board is tomorrow. Zoning Board is the 16th, and Planning Board will be the 28th.
The planning board actually has a meeting on the 17th, next Tuesday.
I thought it had changed.
In lieu, the 17th of
17th
this year.
December, yes, and then
Yeah.
the next one would be the January.
Okay,
So there is one.
okay.
So having conducted all the town business, I make a motion to adjourn.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thanks, everybody.
I'm not trying to mess. I'm serious.
I know.
It depends, probably an hour, but I don't know how long the supervisor's office takes.
So we have to find the, you said there's a guide.
There's a guide, yeah, with a check sheet of like how to do it. If you can't find it, I'm sure that Janice probably has it.
Oh, Janice might have that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay,
but it's on the comptroller's website.
There's
Okay.
time that we're gonna-
There's one for the
Yeah.
court,
I did
my
the court
office.
in the past.
Yeah, it's the same format.
Yeah, that's the one that the husband.
And if I could, who would have a copy of the last one that was conducted?
I do.
Can I